So it is 3:38, 22 minutes till we close. This is Cousin Vinny coming to you live from theclosingprint.com via YouTube Live. Let me see what we're doing here. Stock twits. Trend continues to move higher. VIX is at the lows, showing a little bit of a bounce. We've had advanced decline, pretty much positive all day, above zero, and currently at 666 net advancers, 668. Vol spread is a little bit anemic, been moving sideways all day. Tick cumulative continued to rise during the day. Not much of anything there. The 15-minute chart been moving sideways, and we're continuing to close along these levels. So we need a break above this level for a confirmation of a continuation long. Okay. Hold on one second. So let me go to YouTube. That address is always strange. YouTube. There's no music because of the copyright infringement issue we had on a previous broadcast. Come on. Just pulling up my laptop, guys. Hold on a second. It's Cousin Vinny coming to you live from ticker.tv. I'm using the paper trade platform currently because I don't have it on my machine. It died. So anyway, we are 1-to-1 on the New York Stock Exchange and nearly 2-to-1 on the NASDAQ. So NASDAQ has been performing better. Let me go sign in. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just loading up my laptop for this next 19 minutes before the close. Just watching the markets. Trend at highs. Advanced decline moving sideways. Not much to see here today. Okay. Had a crazy day. Had one long trade, had some calls as trend continued to move lower earlier. Had made about 25 cents on the 209s and just got bored with it. And I had to come pick up my kids anyway. They're from school. So here I am, and trend continues to push higher. It's at 166. It's pretty elevated for the day, but SPY is managing to stay on top of the cloud there. What's going on? Don't mind me, guys. I'm just trying to load up my laptop. Trying to do two things at one time. I am live, right? Yep. Okay. There we go. All right. Okay, well, I'll get that all done. And let me just open that stream. There we go. Hey, Vinky, how you doing? Are you in there? Or is that... Never mind. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to look at a couple of charts while the markets are moving sideways. I actually expected us to break out. We didn't. We continued to flag sideways. We had this doji that started last week and continued into this week. We've just been continuing to close along these levels. We broke above this level here, and we have yet to confirm a breakout. So we're above the 209.04 level. I'm looking at these alerts right here. 210.67 overhead. We got some intermediate pivots in here I need to draw in. The 210.12. Let me put an alert there. Create alert. What was that? 210, 210.12. And we'll add breakout to that. Last crossover, yes. Create that. Okay, so now, where is it? There it is, 210.12. Okay, so we are above 209.04 and we're in the cloud right now. Not seeing much. So it looks like we're going to continue to do this. VIX is trying to find a bottom, starting to move higher. We had a TTM squeeze to the upside, didn't do much there, and now we have balance of power down below. So the bears are taking control of this at the currently. We have tick cumulative starting to round here as we continue to move sideways. Okay. Mike's in the room. Carrick's in the room. Get some people piling in there. How you doing, Mike? I wanted to look at a few charts. Let's go through. You know what? Let's go through the IBD 50. See how they did. Still have my position. Excuse me. And STZ. Constellation brands. Let me bring that over. Slow, slow, slow. I'll move that. I'll wait till it displays. So, hope you guys are doing okay. Monster did okay. Good weather. Great. Monster's new on the IBD 50 list. We see STZ. We're in at 140.10, so we're doing okay there. Mike's in looking at Monster Beverages, which was a new ad this week. And it's displaying slowly, so I won't bore you watching it display. Okay, had a nice move there. Up almost $4, 2.59%. So, let's see what else we got here. Ticks just continue to move sideways. Tick cumulative sort of rounding a little bit. We have 623 Advancing shares still moving higher, so we have more advancers than decliners. Volume starting to taper off here, vol spread. So it's basically a balance between the advancing accumulation and declining accumulation in volume. You can see that with the 1-to-1 right here on the NYSE. Nasdaq's doing much better, so you might want to check XBI out. That's doing quite well, or it was the last time I looked at it. Let's take a look first. See how we're finishing up the week with the IBD 50. Okay, so looks like LGIH Homes, one that Mikey likes to trade. We mentioned that in the Sunday video. That one's moving higher. It's up $1.79. CBM, $1.73. I'm looking at this line right here. Allergan, which should be doing well. Pharmaceuticals and XBI are doing okay. Little breakout there. Remember this we talked about on Sunday's video. So if you took that, you're up a nice chunk of change there, almost $15. Okay, what did I want to look at? I wanted to look at yeah, Nike's looking good. I remember looking at that earlier. So that's good. When you see cyclicals starting to do good, thinking about Nike going into Christmas as a gift. Buying sneakers, new sneakers, a little breakout there above the 133.52 level. And I got $1.62 on that today. NTES, yep, that looks good. What did I want to look at? I lost my train of thought. VIX is coming off the bottom. Looks like it's doing a little. This is, when you see 1-to-1, basically that's what you're going to get. NYSE and the SPY is moving sideways. You're going to get chopped up. So all day, that's all we've seen is choppy action. And we're seeing a doji, which is the epitome of choppy action. You make a high, make a low, and you close right in the middle. Okay? So for you new traders, anyone listening, the things you want to pay attention to are what's your up-down volume at the open, and is it increasingly positive or increasingly negative during the day as your trend develops in either direction. Look at what your trend is over the last week or two, your short-term trend, and look for trades in the direction of that trend. Now lately we've had a sideways trend, so you've been chopped up for the better part of 3 trading days out of this week, with the exception of yesterday, which was a nice move lower and then a reversal. So what we were talking about yesterday was how we saw that, and that's in the blog post. If you want to check out the blog, we posted that this morning. What's up, buddy?
Can I have one of these?
Yeah, you can have one, babe. Your mother should be home shortly, okay? So anyway, that was my son. Came home and picked him up from school. We've got 8 minutes to go for the closing bell. So I was looking at this blog post this morning. You can check that out right here. Here's the blog address, closingprint.com/cb_blog. Make sure you use caps here. It's case sensitive. It's a Linux server. But what we're looking for was an example of, what the hell? I just clicked on my own ad. They hate when you do that, Google. Okay, so here we go. We have, yesterday we had a nice move off the lows. The opening range broke lower. At around just before 11 o'clock, we had Stowe turn back up. We had a trigger there. We had a trigger on MACD crossover, and we had tick cumulative crossover as well. All of that lined up with 2-to-1 up volume, and the rest of the day just continued to play out nicely. That was an aggressive entry, would be an entry back into the opening range, having seen all of these indicators trigger, and a more safe or confirmable range or area to trade would be a breakout above the opening range with up-down volume. At that point, I think it was 3-to-1 up volume. And prices continued to hug the 10 EMA and kept rising up until we saw this area around 2 where we pulled back, and then we went sideways. And right around there is when we start to see up-down volume start to taper off. So that's where you saw some profit taking, and likely some of you guys got out during that period. But the point is that if you watch up volume, the whole point in the post was to watch up-down volume, watch your signals, and you'll be able to trade more without emotion and keep yourself into trades, enter trades correctly, and also be able to monitor trades during the day and know when to get out of a stock or an index very easily, rather than guessing on what you might expect. So anyway, that's UPRO. Yeah, UPRO did quite well yesterday as well. Obviously, last week we had Monday and Wednesday. Those two big green candles did quite well. And trend is starting to spike into the towards the close. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm back. My wife just got home, getting the turkey, getting ready for Thanksgiving. So I guess we'll be cooking tonight. I'm going to be taking it easy this weekend with the beer. Just don't feel like drinking. I go through those periods where I only drink a beer once in a while anyway. So anyway, let's take a look. Trend is really spiking here. Now, interesting, we have selling here. We have net advancing issues relative to decliners. The zero line's right here. We have vol spread flat, so it's basically a wash for the day on low volume. And we have 1-to-1 up-down volume. So we don't really have anything to be concerned about. Price action's been choppy, and it's just inside the opening range for the most part. So we were looking for a break above these wicks here for confirmation of a continuation, or a close below this wick and this very large green candle. Since we don't have either, we're still in this sideways pattern. So when you have a large up move like we had over the last 6 weeks, then you have a pullback to the 382. You bounce. It seems to be a fairly strong bounce. We continue to move higher, and you also see consolidation now. So when you see consolidation after a 6-week move and a 382 pullback, that leads you to believe that you're going to see a continuation at some point in the near future. Its seasonality is figuring in, so we think it's going to move to the upside. But thinking one thing and watching for confirmation is another story. So for confirmation, Friday and going into next week, we want to see a close above these wicks for continuation, and a close below this green candle as a area where we would reassess the whole trade, the thought process. Now, a close below this wick here on the price action today would also alert us to a possibility that we could see a reversal, and these could be pivots here or reversal candles. So that's what we're looking at. Okay, so Philip, that's because I have I'm using a paper trade account on my Mac and not the PC. So I could have pulled up the other account, but I didn't. So that's probably why you're seeing a slight difference. Okay. Anyway, let's look at this again. We've got 2 minutes to go. Let's take a look at SPY on stock charts. Okay. So here's that opening range. This was yesterday. We broke above the opening range right in here, took off, and basically we've been moving sideways for 2 days. Actually, for the last 4 trading days. With the exception of yesterday, we hit that low and reversed back. We closed in the same area. So right now, we're at 209.35 and continue to move sideways. Alright, so there's not much to see here. I'm going to call it a day. Just wanted to check in and say happy Thanksgiving to you guys that celebrate Thanksgiving. And we will talk to you probably sometime Friday morning early. Probably a blog post on Friday morning. So I hope you guys have a good holiday. There's the bell, and we'll talk to you later. Cousin Vinny coming to you live from YouTube via theclosingprint.com. Take